If the rotor speed is equal to synchronous speed, then what will happen? There is no relative motion between the stator magnetic field as well as rotor. Okay. If there is no relative motion between these two, then what will happen? There is no EMF will be induced. No EMF will be induced in the rotor. If there is no EMF, no current. No current. If there is no current, therefore finally there is no torque developed in between these two. There is no torque developed in between these two. Okay. Always your rotor speed will be less than that of synchronous speed. Then only there is a relative motion between stator magnetic field as well as rotor magnetic field. Okay. Rotor flux. Okay. Always this rotor speed will be less than that of synchronous speed. Okay, what is synchronous speed? Synchronous speed is equals to, it will depends upon the frequency as well as number of poles. Okay, in our India, the frequency is constant, 50 Hz. Only depends upon the poles. The synchronous speed will be changes. 120 F by P. 120 F by P. Right? We will discuss some problem. And what is the formula for slip? Slip is equals to difference between synchronous speed and rotor speed with respect to synchronous speed. If it is percentage into 100. Okay, what is slip speed? Slip speed is equal to ns synchronous speed into 1 minus s. So ns minus s. Slip speed is nothing but ns minus s. Ns minus s. That is slip speed. Okay. If I need to find out the rotor speed, rotor speed, that is ns into 1 minus s. 1 minus s. These are the different formulas. Okay, now we will discuss some problems, examples on this. Okay, let them know. Example, a 4-pole, let them know. Let an example, a 4-pole, 4-pole, comma, 3-phase, a 4-pole, 3-phase induction motor operates from a supply frequency of 50 Hz. Supply frequency of 50 Hz. Full stop. Calculate the speed at which magnetic field of the stator is rotating. Once again, the speed at which the magnetic field of the stator is rotating. Okay. Now second one, the speed of the rotor when the slip is equals to 0.04. Now come to third one. The frequency of the rotor currents when the slip is 0.03. Next, and the last one, fourth one. The frequency of the rotor current at standstill. The frequency of the rotor current at standstill. At standstill means this is not rotating, stationary. Okay, stationary. here it is rotating certain speed. Here it is rotating. Okay, here the rotor will rotating. We have to find out the frequency of the rotor current. Here rotor is stator, rotor is stationary. I need to find out the frequency of the rotor current. Okay, right. Now this is your problem. I need to find out all this one. Okay, what is the first one? First we have to write down given data. What is given data? Given data. What is the given data? Tell me. In this problem, the poles are 4. The poles are 4. Next, and the frequency is 50 Hz. This is common data for all these 4 points. For this all these 4 points, this is common data. Now, what is the first one? First one is I need to find out the speed at which the magnetic field of the stator is rotating. Tell me, what is the speed of the magnetic field rotating? What is that speed? Anyone? The speed?
ns is equals to 120 f by p.
That speed is nothing but a synchronous speed. You have to know this one. Okay, that speed is nothing but a synchronous speed. The speed at which the magnetic field of the rotor is rotating, that is nothing but synchronous speed. The formula is 120 f by p. 120 f by p. I know the frequency. I know the poles. Okay, frequency is 50 and the poles is 4. Okay, 120 into 50 by 4. 4 is 30 times. Okay, if you multiply these two, then 1500 rpm. 1500 rpm rotation per minute. Okay, now come to second one. What is second one? I need to find in the rotor speed. I need to find out the rotor speed when the slip is 0.04. Now what is the formula? NR is equals to ns into 1 minus s. I need to find out the rotor speed when the slip is 0.04. Okay, now I know the value of synchronous speed. Synchronous speed is 1500 rpm. Okay, I know the slip is 0.04. Just simply substitute 1500 rpm 1 minus 0.04. If you simplify this value, what is the value? 1440 rpm. These are the simple formulas. Okay, next come to third one. In third one, I need to find out the rotor frequency. Okay, I need to find out the frequency at rotor current. What is the formula? Fr is equals to S into F dash. S into F dash. Okay. Now what is the S into F? S into F. Okay. S. What is this? S is 0.03. S is 0.03 and the frequency is 50. If you multiply these two values, the speed will be
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5, but it is in RPS per second. RPS. Okay, if I need to find it per minute, what I have to do?
Into 60.
Into 60, 1.5 into 60, then you will get the value of your rotor current frequency, that is 90 rpm. 90 rpm. Like this, we have to find out the frequency at rotor currents. The frequency of the rotor currents when the slip is 0.03. Now, and the last one. What is the last one? I need to find out the frequency at rotor current when it is stationary. When it is standstill. What is standstill? Standstill is the word stationary. Okay. Now again the formula is same. Fr is equals to S into F. And frequency is same, 50 Hz. What about S? What is the value of S?
1, sir.
Right, 1. When it is stationary, the rotor frequency, the slip will be 1. Because what is slip? S is equals to ns minus n by ns. Okay, right. Now if it is stationary, what is the speed? Speed will be 0. Therefore ns by ns, that is equals to 1. Is it clear? Slip is equals to ns minus n by ns. Now if the rotor is stationary, n value is equals to 0. N value is equals to 0. Now ns by ns, that is equals to 1. Your slip will be 1. Therefore 50 Hz. 50 Hz. Okay, like this we have to find out the rotor speed. Okay, next synchronous speed, next frequency of the rotor currents. Like this we have to find out. Okay, we will do one more problem, then it will be easy. Okay. Right, done. Better. A three-phase induction motor. First complete this one within 2 minutes. Fast. This type of problems we will get in 2 marks, 3 marks question like that. Now come to next problem. Get the question. A three-phase induction motor. A three-phase induction motor is wound for 4 poles. Is wound for 4 poles and is supplied from a frequency of 50 Hz and is supplied from frequency of 50 Hz system. 50 Hz system. Full stop. Full stop. Calculate same synchronous speed. First one is synchronous speed. Next second one rotor speed. Rotor speed when the slip is 4%. When the slip is 4%. And last one, third one. Find the rotor frequency. Find the rotor frequency when the rotor runs at 600 rpm. When rotor runs at 600 rpm. Right. How to find out the synchronous speed? First question. Same problem. Previously, what is the formula? Ns is equals to 120 F by P. Right. Your first is same synchronous speed. What is synchronous speed? Ns is equals to 120 F by P, and the frequency is 50, and the 4 poles are 4. Then your synchronous speed will be 1500 rpm only. Next, I need to find out the rotor speed. Okay, I know the synchronous speed, that is 1500 rpm. Okay, and the slip will be, what is the slip value? It is 4%. Then what is the value of 4%? 0.04. 0.04. If it is 0.04, same. What is that one? 1440 rpm only. Okay, your slip is 4%. If you convert 4% value, nothing but 0.04 only. Okay, now come to third bit. What is third bit? I need to find out the rotor frequency. Fr is equals to S into F. SNDF, but I need to find out first slip. If I know the slip value, then I can find out the rotor frequency. Okay. Now, first you have to find out the slip. What is slip? What is slip formula? First you have to find out the slip formula. S is equals to ns minus n by ns. Okay. You know ns. What is ns? 1500 rpm. You know the speed of the rotor. What is the speed of the rotor? 600 by 1500. If you simplify this value, what is the value of slip? Tell me. What is the value of slip? Slip value is
0.6.
yes 0.6. Okay, and the units, there is no units for the slip. Okay, 0.6. Now I know the value of slip value 0.6 into 50. Then you will get the frequency in hertz, that is 30 hertz. 30. Like this we have to find. Okay, now we will go next topic, that is torque. How the torque developed in the induction motor and what is the equation. Okay, we will discuss. One second. One video we will see. Please follow the video.
Started our basic introduction to the induction motors, and we saw a very basic level of understanding of the construction. Okay, we saw that the induction motor basically has a stator and a rotor. Okay, stator is stationary and the rotor is the rotating part. And in the rotating part, that is the rotor, we are having two types of rotor, right? One is called the squirrel cage, and we have seen how it is constructed, and then we have seen the slip ring type of construction.
Already we discussed in the starting first class only, slip ring type and squirrel cage. Which type of rotor we are using most in industries? 95% are using in which type of rotor?
Squirrel gauge.
Squirrel gauge type of motor we are using 95% of industries. Okay, we have some advantage of that one. That's why we are using squirrel gauge.
Or wound type of rotor winding. Okay, so that is the wound rotor has the same stator type of winding, three-phase winding, which is present in
The difference between squirrel gauge and slip ring, that compulsory gunshot question in the external examination, it may be around 4 to 5 marks like that.
the rotor. Okay. Today we will be seeing how is the induced torque developed in an induction motor. So we'll see two explanations for this. One is using the basic Lorentz force, and the other one which we can use is from the equations that we have derived for the torque induced, which connects the rotor flux as well as the stator magnetic field. So these two explanations will be
Will be developed due to the relative motion between stator magnetic field as well as rotor magnetic field. Okay, stator ki rotor ki magnetic field మధ్యలో ఉన్న relative motion వల్ల మనకి టార్క్ అనేది డెవలప్ అవుతుంది. Okay,
seeing today. So for example, let us have a rotor structure here. Okay, so I'm just drawing the rotor structure now. And for example, the rotor is something like this. So DC machine bars, right? So this is a cross section of the rotor, remember. Okay, so the rotor will actually three-dimensionally extend to the both sides. We are just taking a cross section of the rotor. So that is why these conductors you are having a this circular type. So this is the cross section of the rotor. Now let us say that you are having, I have not drawn the stator here, but assume that there is a stator also, and that stator, now in the stator three-phase windings, you are giving three-phase electrical power. Therefore, what do you get? You get a rotating magnetic field. Now let us assume that the rotating magnetic field is something like this. I'm just drawing it like this, so you get a feel that the rotating magnetic field exists in this space. Okay? And it has a direction like this. Okay? So the rotating magnetic field has a direction like this. Let us call it as Bs. And it is rotating in the counterclockwise direction at what speed? Synchronous speed. So this is the omega synchronous. So you already know the equations, that is the synchronous speed in terms of RPM will be equal to 120 F electrical divided by P. So this F electrical is the supply frequency and this is the number of poles that are created. Okay, so NS is equal to 120 into F electrical divided by P. and that is this is omega in terms of angular speed, and it is rotating in the counterclockwise direction. Okay? So these conductors, you can see that because this field is changing its position, these conductors, for example, let us take this conductor here. It is seeing a changing magnetic field, right? Because it's rotating. Because this sees a changing magnetic field, and EMF will be induced, right? See, what do you need for EMF? You either need a spatially changing magnetic field, or you need an flux which is changing with respect to time. So in a transformer, EMF is induced due to changing with respect to time. But whereas in generator or a motor as such, the EMF is induced due to the space variation of the flux. Okay, so here, this conductor here, let us call that conductor A. This conductor A sees a changing magnetic field. Okay, so let's bring that conductor here now, just to get a better feel of this. So you are having a field which is in like this BS. It is rotating here, right? Omega C. Now I already told you, when this conductor is now going to see a changing magnetic field, it will induce an EMF, right? So the EMF induced, okay, is equal to the relative velocity between the stator field and the conductor, V cross B, okay, Vs, V cross B.
Always, if there is a relative motion between stator magnetic field and rotor, then only all this will come. Induced EMF, current, as well as torque. If there is no relative motion between these two, there is no EMF induced in the current, induced, and no current, and there is no torque. Always there is a relative motion between stator magnetic field as well as rotor.
Dot N. So this is the basic equation that we have seen in DC machines, AC machines, etc. Now this is the relative velocity between these two. Okay. So now at this point, we can see the relative velocity of the rotor with respect to the stator, relative velocity of the rotor conductor with respect to the stator. Okay. So I've already explained all these things in AC machinery fundamentals. So you can see that relative is with respect to BS. So it will appear as the conductor is moving in the opposite direction, right? For example, when you are going in a bus, okay, and one person is stationary in the bus stop, okay. So when you are moving forward, you see that person moving backward. So same way, when you are keeping the reference as BS, the conductor, and it is moving in the counterclockwise direction, in this direction, it will appear as the rotor conductor for the stator flux will appear the rotor conductor is moving in the opposite direction, just like you feel when you are traveling in a bus that the person who is standing in the bus stand stationary, he is moving away from you. So in this case, now this rotor is stationary, right? So this is the V relative. So now V cross B means take V and cross with B. So you have a counterclockwise equation. Therefore, the EMF induced direction will be V cross B. Okay. So this is the counterclockwise. So counterclockwise means it is coming out of the page. So this EMF induced will be out of the page. So it will look like this. So we are taking only for one conductor, which is conductor. Now look, you are having a current, okay, in the conductor in a magnetic field. Now when you are having a current in a magnetic field, you will have a force, right? And that force is called Lorentz force. And that force direction is proportional to I cross B, right? That is proportional to I cross B.
Your force will be developed between the stator field. Stator field is nothing but B, okay, and the rotor current. Okay, rotor current is nothing but I. Okay, I cross B.
These are basic DC any machine fundamentals. Okay, so this is like this. So let's draw a three-dimensional type. So this is I, right, and this is B. Okay, so the force is I cross B. The force will be I cross B. So this is coming outside, coming towards you, and this B is in the B is in the upward direction, right? So three-dimensionally, if I your I, okay, so the force will be I cross B. So I cross B means take I and cross with B. Therefore, the force will be in either this direction or this direction, right? Cross products are always perpendicular. So I cross B, it is now in the counterclockwise direction here. So the force will be in this direction, right? So the force is in like this. Force is like this. So this will be the direction of the force which is produced in the motor. Now, if you take this A conductor here, there will be another conductor A dash, like in this side, and that will have a current which is opposite, right? So this is all, I told you this is all connected using an end ring. Therefore, to complete the connection, if this is having a dot, this will have a cross. Okay. Therefore, if this has a force in this direction, okay, and this will have a force in the opposite direction because
rotates. Okay, if this conductor having the force in this direction, if this conductor having this force in this direction, then it will automatically having rotation motion. Okay, torque.
the current direction has changed, right? And the field direction is same. So this has an induced force in this direction. So what will happen? A torque is developed and the motor starts to
Rotate.
or the rotor starts to rotate. Now the interesting thing here is that, see, the rotor, the force is like this, right? So the torque is in this direction. So this force, you can see one is like this and the other one is like. Therefore the overall torque is in this counterclockwise direction, right? So the induced torque is in the counterclockwise direction, right? So the rotor rotates in the same direction as the
Synchronous speed.
same direction as the stator magnetic field. So this
Depends upon the stator magnetic field. If the stator magnetic field rotates on clockwise direction, automatically your rotor also rotate in clockwise direction. But here we are assuming if the stator winding will be anti-clockwise direction, like this counter-clockwise direction, that's why your rotor also rotate counter-clockwise direction. Okay, your rotor rotates in the same direction of your stator field. Stator field.
point is very important. So what did we see? We saw that there is a magnetic field which is rotating. That means that the conductor is going to see a change in magnetic field. So when the conductor sees a change in magnetic field, it will induce an EMF, which is defined by this equation. And that induced EMF will produce a current. Why it is producing a current? Because the conductors are short circuited, right? In a squirrel cage motor, the conductors are shorted down, so you have a current path. So once you have a current flow, you see that in the same magnetic field, there is a current carrying conductor. And when you have a current carrying conductor in a steady magnetic field, it will have a force. It will experience a
Motor principle, whenever a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. Okay, that is nothing but a motor principle.
and we found out that the force is in this direction for one.
That direction will be depends upon the how the rotating magnetic field will have. Okay, if the rotating magnetic field direction will be in not counterclockwise direction, then the rotor also rotate counterclockwise direction. If the rotating magnetic field be in clockwise direction, then rotor also rotate clockwise direction. Okay, that force will be coming from using these vectors. Okay, induced EMF is equal, write on this equation and draw this one. Okay, how the force will be the having the direction of the force. Okay.
Conductor, and the direct opposite conductor, the force will be in the other direction. So every conductor here will experience a force, right? So one force will be like this, another force will be like this, right? So overall you are getting a counterclockwise torque here. So overall you are getting a counterclockwise.
Draw this one also. It will be, you know how to develop torque in the given rotor. Okay, depending upon the vector principle, like this, every conductor will move downward direction, this one. If then it will be flowing anti-clockwise direction. Okay, compulsory you have to mention this one also. The synchronous speed will be in anti-clockwise direction. That's why the rotor also rotated in anti-clockwise direction. Okay.
Therefore, the motor starts to accelerate in the same direction as the synchronous. Okay, so that means the motor will start to rotate. Now there is another way to explain all these things. So let's now draw proper rotor structure and let us try to explain this with respect to the fields which are created. Now it's almost the same diagram which I have drawn, but I have drawn it a little bit neat here. So here you are having the stator magnetic field.
Here we are considered with respect to rotor, wound rotor. What is wound rotor? Wound rotor is nothing but slip ring.
I have not drawn the stator structure. So this is actually the rotor structure. Okay? So you are having the magnetic field Bs, which is produced by the stator. Okay, stator magnetic field, and it is rotating in the counterclockwise direction with a speed of omega c. Okay, which is this ns is related on n sync is equal to 120 f electrical divided by. Okay, so this is the basic thing. Now you know that the EMF will be induced and there will be a rotor current which is going to flow. So arbitrary, let me take a direction like this. So this is the axis which shows the rotor current maximum. Okay, rotor current maximum. This is just to define the rotor magnetic field. Now I told you when a current is flowing. Now for example, this conductors will take. So for example, a current is flowing like this. So if you see the magnetic field of this particular loop here, magnetic field, so this is coming out and this is going inside, right? So it is something like this. So it is coming out from here and it is going inside. So in this direction, you feel that the magnetic field in space will be in this direction, right? It will be in this direction. So you use the this current is flowing in the counterclockwise direction, so the magnetic field will be in this right-hand screw ring. Okay, all these things are very well explained in the AC machine fundamentals. You can watch that video also. So here also we can just draw that rotor flux. Okay, so this is BS is created by the stator and now VR is created by the rotor. Now you are having two magnetic fields in space, right? And when you have two magnetic fields in space, the induced torque we have seen that is equal to K into VR cross BS. Now these are the equations that an engineer should be interested in. Rather than this particular explanation, which is very basic level, we have to concentrate on these particular equations because these are very easy to analyze. Okay, so the induced torque direction can be found out by induced torque direction, right? So, what is the direction? It is the counterclockwise. So induced torque will be in the counter. What is the meaning of induced torque in the counterclockwise direction? That means the overall rotating in the
Counterclockwise direction,
right?
Your induced EMF will be depends upon the rotor field as well as stator field. Okay. Now it will start from rotor to stator. Now it will be in counterclockwise direction. Means it will be as like the rotor's the synchronous speed, like the same direction.
So this explanation is very useful type. You are having the same type of stator windings. Okay, whatever is stator winding, three-phase electrical winding, same thing you are having in the rotor structure also. Okay, therefore, for those type of explanation, this is useful. And for squirrel cage, this explanation is useful. So I've given you both. So now, how much fast can this rotor move? Okay, can it go up to synchronous speed? Okay, so we'll see that. So what is the limit? What is the upper limit here?
Always it will be less than that of synchronous speed. Okay, if it is both are equal, I said if there is no both are equal, there is no torque because there is no relative motion between these two. Because stator starting field synchronous speed same 1500 rpm ఉంది, rotor speed of 1500 rpm ఉంది, రెండు సేమ్ స్పీడ్ తిరుగుతున్నప్పుడు there is no relative motion between these two. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, మీకు టార్క్ అనేది జీరో అయిపోతుంది. ఓకే,
the synchronous speed. Okay. That means the induced EMF, you see, it is the relative velocity between the rotor flux as well as the stator flux, right? Rotor and stator. So if both are rotating at the same speed, what will happen? There is no relative speed. The relative speed is zero. That means there will be no induced EMF. And once there is no induced EMF, there is no current. And if there is no current, there is no torque. Because torque is produced due to the current which is flowing, right? The interaction of the current and the magnetic field, that is how torque is built. So if you have no induced EMF, there is no current and there will be no torque and the motor will start to slow down. Okay. So what I am trying to say here is that the induction motor can never reach synchronous speed. It will try to reach synchronous speed, but it will never reach there. It is like a running race. It is trying to reach synchronous speed, but it can never reach there. Because once it reaches there, the EMF induced will be zero, the current will be zero, and the torque will be zero. Therefore, it will try to reach, but it will be always little bit less than what it is from synchronous speed. Okay, it can never reach the synchronous speed. So that is important thing here. So we'll just write if the rotor rotates be zero, that means the current will be zero. That this causes the rotor to decelerate, and once it starts to decelerate, there will be a relative velocity because the speeds are not same. Then EMF will be induced, then the current will be induced, then the torque will be induced. So therefore it is almost like a running race here. Okay, so what is the conclusion is that the induction motor can only rotate at speeds less than the synchronous speed.
that's right.
Speeds less.
Always your rotor speed will be less than that of synchronous speed.
Less than the same speed as the synchronous speed, rotor and the stator, right? Magnetic locking between the rotor and the rotor magnetic field and the stator magnetic field. So that is different principle, and here it is just the induced torque which is produced by the induction motors. Where have we seen that? When I told you about the starting methods of the synchronous motor, remember that one of the methods was using amortisseur windings, right? So what was an amortisseur winding? You have the stator structure like this, and then the rotor structure was something like this, right? And I told you the synchronous motor is not a self-starting motor. So what did we do? We placed some conductors here like this, which is called amortisseur windings. And I told you this amortisseur winding will bring the rotor to enough speed to get the magnetic locking, right? So you start the motor, okay, and because of this action what we discussed here, the motor will come up to speed, and once it comes to speed, we turn on the DC supply, and this will become a magnet very fast, and then there's a magnetic locking between the stator magnetic field and the rotor magnetic field. So that is how the synchronous motors works. So in that time, I didn't tell you that that was the working principle of the induction motor. But see, that process is so efficient that you can design an entire motor out of it, right? So this is the way torque is induced in an induction motor. Now I've told you that this synchronous, the motor can rotate at speeds only less than the synchronous speed. Okay, so this brings a new concept which is called slip. Okay, the difference between.
That's why a slip will be introduced in this system. Okay, always your rotor having the slip, rotor slip, and having slip between the synchronous speed as well as rotor speed. Okay, that's why rotor slip we can call. That is nothing but a slip. Okay, what is slip? Ns minus n by ns. Like this, we have to know how the torque will be induced in the rotor. Okay, this is next we have the equations. Okay, we will derive some equations. Okay, then we have some torque equations. Okay, next class we will discuss torque equations also. Okay, if you have any doubt till now, first you have to know what is the construction of rotor, or what is the construction of induction motor. Induction motor having main two parts, stator as well as rotor. Okay, in stator, if the supply is two-phase, then how the rotating magnetic will be induced, that already discussed. If the supply is three-phase, how the rotating magnetic field will be induced. Okay, right. Come to stator. Come to rotor. Rotor comes of two types: squirrel cage induction motor and phase wound type of rotor. Okay, phase wound is also known as slip ring type. Okay, right. In squirrel cage, there is no external resistance will be added. External resistance will be added. There is no possibility of external resistance. Okay, in phase wound, we have a possibility of external resistance. We have a possibility of external resistance. If we add the external resistance, we can vary the speed. We can vary the speed of the given rotor, given motor. Right. Next, what is the main advantage of these two? Okay, squirrel cage or more we are using 95%. We are using industries or squirrel cage type only because we have more advantages compared to the phase wound. Okay, right. After that, after construction, next we discussed what we discussed: slip. How the slip will be occurred. Okay, right. Then next, after that, we discuss the problems on slip. Next, after that, we have how the torque will be developed in the rotor. Okay, all we discussed in the classes. Next, we have a torque equations. We will discuss in the next class. Thank you. If you have any doubts, ping me, message me. Thank you.